Very good morning to all of you. We are discussing energy chapter under the heading thermodynamics. To recall our previous session, first we understood what is meant by thermodynamics, its importance, its significance, then some important thermodynamical terms. In that, what is meant by a system, a surrounding, and a boundary. So next step was, in system, how many types are there? Open, closed, and isolated. Afterwards, the last part of yesterday's session was state variables. One small example. Now I am having a container with gas, which is at a particular temperature, at a particular pressure. Okay. So pressure, temperature, and the volume of that gas, these three are called as what? State variables. Okay. State parameters of that system. By chance, if there is a change in the temperature or change in the volume or pressure, that time the existing state of a system will change to some other state of system. Okay, that time again P is different, T is different, and volume is different. So it is changing from one state of system to the other state of system because of what? Because of state variables, state functions, or the state parameters. Okay, so this was the yesterday's point of discussion. Now today we are going to discuss a few more terms. Okay, I welcome you all for today's session on intensive and extensive properties under thermodynamic chapter. Intensive properties do not depend on the amount of matter in a sample, whereas extensive properties depend on how much matter a sample contains. That means a property which is independent of amount is called intensive property. For example, boiling point is a property. It is an intensive property. Why? Because boiling point of water is 100 degrees centigrade, we know. Whether we boil one spoon water or one beaker water or one full barrel water, it is 100 degrees centigrade only. So boiling point of water is not depending on the amount. So boiling point is what? Intensive property. Luster. Second example. You take an example of gold. Whether you take 1 gram gold, pure gold, or 10 gram or 20 gram or 1 kilogram of pure gold, everything has got a shining property, lustrous property. Okay, so it is not depending on the by taking small 1 gram lustrous will go down, or by taking more quantity of gold it will increase. No, okay, it is not depending on the amount. So such properties are called as what? Intensive properties. In the same way, temperature and concentration are also examples for what? Intensive properties. Now let us come to the extensive properties. Okay, now weight. Weight depends upon the amount. Weight of a 6th class boy, weight of a 10th class boy, weight of a 40 years old or 40 years adult. So weight differs, it depends upon the amount. It depends upon the amount. Volume also. So more the volume, more the mass, more the volume. So they all depend on the amount. Okay. So a property which is depending on the amount, they come under the category extensive property. Okay. So I think I have made myself clear what is meant by intensive property and extensive property with examples. Now one more point, one more term, internal energy. Okay. What is internal energy? The name itself indicates energy which is there inside the system. That is called what? Internal energy. This is general meaning. Now we go to the thermodynamical meaning of what is meant by internal energy. The internal energy E, sometimes it is denoted by using the English alphabetical letter U also, either U or E. Okay, in different books they use either E or U. Normally in chemistry we use U, and in the physics we use E. The internal energy of a system is the sum of the kinetic and potential energies of all the particles of the system. Oh, see, every system has got some matter content. Okay, and if you go to the microscopic level or the molecular level, they are made up of atoms or the ions or the molecules. Okay, so they have some energy, whether it is a rotational energy or the vibrational energy. Okay, different types of energies are there, but total energy, it is some total energy of the entire mass, which includes every atom or a molecule, that is called as the internal energy of that system. How much it is there, we don't know. Excuse me, I can't say that how much internal energy is there with a particular system. Okay, for example, you are having some money in your bank. Okay, I don't know how much money is there with you. If I give you 50 rupees, certainly there is a change in your balance. That much I can say. But I am not sure that how much money is there in your bank account. But I can say that money increased by 50 rupees because I have given you. Okay. So now what is the change in your balance? Earlier some was there. Now this much difference is 50. Whatever I have given, that is the change in your balance. In the same way, it is very difficult to know the internal energy of a system. Till now, today we don't know in the thermodynamics. We are also eagerly waiting for a method where we will come to know or we will measure the internal energy of the system. But we can say definitely change in the internal energy. Okay, right. So a system with a particular energy, if I give some amount of energy in the form of work or heat, internal energy changes. Okay, now you measure it. How much difference is there? That is the change in the internal energy. Okay. So the internal energy of a system can be changed by flow of work or heat or both. Either we will perform on work into the system, okay, or we will allow heat to enter into the system, or if the heat is lost by the system to the surrounding, or if work is done by the system on the surrounding, or if both are done, heat and the work, then there is a change in the internal energy. Okay, so change in the internal energy equal to Q plus W. What is Q? Q is heat. W is what? Work. So either you can change the internal energy either by heat Q or by work W or by both. But energy is conserved always. Okay, right. Now, internal energy can be defined as the sum of all kinds of energy associated with a molecular motion. This I told already in different way. Internal energy is a form of energy and it must be conserved as the law says. So, internal energy depends on the states and not on the path by which the process has occurred. Thus, it is an state function. So, to prove that internal energy is a state function, so he want to explain in this way. So internal energy is a state function. Earlier, some internal energy was there. Now, internal energy is whether increasing, decreasing, I don't know. But if it is increase, how it is increased? By what method? I don't know. Increase is there or decrease is there. How the internal energy decreased, whether by work or by heat or by both, or I don't know exactly. Okay, so I don't know the path, by which path, by which route, by which mechanism. Okay, there is a change in the internal energy. Okay, path I don't know, but I am certain that there is a change in the internal energy. That means what? Internal energy is a state function which is not depending on the path. It worries only about the initial state and the final state. In the beginning, some energy was there. At the end, some energy is there. Difference is final minus initial. That is the change in the internal energy. That's all. Okay. So that's why internal energy is a state function which is path independent. Now, characteristics of internal energy. The internal energy of a system is extensive property, just so explained. It is a state property, state variable, definitely. Okay, how pressure, volume, temperature, are called state variables. In the same way, internal energy also state variable. Okay, initial state, final state, internal beginning energy, end energy. Okay, so the change in internal energy is independent of path followed. Change in it of change in it of a cyclic process is zero. So here, what you want to say, if our process is cyclic, for example, in the from we start with some system with some amount of x. Okay, now I will go from A state to the B state. Okay, now B state to the C state, C state to the D state, D state to the E state, and finally I come to E state to the A state once again in the beginning only. So how much energy was there in the beginning by doing either work, heat, or both? I have transformed or changed, but ultimately I came to the same A point only. How much energy was there after certain routes path? Now once again I reached the same energy. So it is a cyclic process. In the cyclic process, change in the internal energy is zero. Why? How much it was there in the beginning, now also in the final state, it is there only. So for cyclic process, the change in the internal energy is zero. Now, there are two ways of increasing the internal energy. Okay, work done on a gas, heat puts into a system. I told you either separately you do or both. If the work is done on a gas, okay, then there is an increase in the internal energy. If heat is flows, heat put into a system, system is gaining the heat, then also there is an increase in the internal energy. Now there are two ways to decrease now. How? Work done by expanding gas. That means here work is done by the system on the surrounding. So system is losing, okay, some amount of energy. So thereby there is a decrease in the internal energy. Or if heat leaves a system, here also same thing. Earlier case was heat was entering into the system. Now heat is lost by the system to the surroundings. That time system loses the internal energy, or there is a decrease in the internal energy. Okay, now heat, work, and the internal energy relation. The gas has internal energy as indicated by its temperature. So temperature is one energy. Okay. So by knowing the temperature by using thermometer, we'll come to know how much temperature is there. It is one of the energies. So a system has got many energies. Okay, in that heat may be the main, but other energies are there. So the gas has internal energy as indicated by its temperature. One example is taking. Okay, if heat is added, its internal energy increases, no doubt. If the gas expands and does work, okay, I mean, who is doing the work here? System is doing work on the surroundings. Does work on the atmosphere, its internal energy decreases, just what I told. Heat and work are forms of energy. Okay, they are not state functions. Heat and work are they are the modes of energy transfer. They are the path functions. They are not the state functions. How heat is added, by which method, by which mode, by which path, I don't know whether it is by heating using the LPG gas or by the electric current or by some other, we don't know. So there are different routes or the modes of the heat exchange. So that's why heat is not called as a state function, which is depending on the initial and the final state. Heat is a path function, which depends on the path. So depending upon the path, we can tell this much heat is there. Okay, right. So in the same way, work also. So heat, what is work actually in the simple sense? Work is purposeful expenditure of energy. Okay, so heat and work both are different forms of energy, and they keep changing, they keep transferring from one system to the other system by some path. Okay, right. So the first law of thermodynamics keeps track of the balance between the heat, work, and internal energy of the gas. That means there is a one law of the nature, okay, which keeps or which you are checking whether heat, work, internal energy balance is there or not. Okay, so it is the work of the nature to maintain the balance between heat, work, and the internal energy. That means now we are coming to which point? Most important part of the first part of the thermodynamics. So we are now going to the first law of thermodynamics. This is our system with internal energy. heat energy that entered the system. Okay, energy of the system already is there. Work energy that left the system. Something entered, out of how much gone out, we don't know. Okay, but total energy is maintained. Balance is there in the nature. The change in internal energy of a closed system, delta U, delta means what? Change, is equal to heat added to the system plus the work done on the system. Already some internal energy is there with the closed system. Now, if heat is added, internal energy increases. Okay, and if the work is done on the system by the surrounding, again there is a increase in the. So, what is the total increase? It is Q plus W. Okay, so that is the increase. Earlier, some internal energy was there because of doing work on the system and heat entry into the system. There is an increase in the internal energy. How much increase? The difference is delta U. That means energy has not lost. The energy is with the system or the surroundings. It is exchanging between the system and the surrounding. This is the rule of the universe, because universe is made up of only two. One is system, one is surrounding. Only thing is energies keep exchanging between these two, system and the surroundings. Okay, right. The first law is a statement of conservation of energy. So what the first law is telling us? The first law is telling us that energy is protected, energy is conserved, energy is maintained, energy is constant. The first law states that a change in internal energy in a system can occur as a result of energy transfer by heat, by work, or by both. Okay, right. This is a example for first law of thermodynamics from our day-to-day example. So here also, earlier energy was here, now energy transferred. So energy is where energy has gone? Energy has gone from one system to the other system. That means energy is not gone here and there. If energy disappears somewhere, somewhere it appears. Okay. So that's why he says that it is the conservation of energy. Okay. That's why what is the one more statement of first law of thermodynamics? Total energy of the universe is constant. This is called the law of conservation of energy. So first law of thermodynamics means what? It is the law of conservation of energy. See, this is the concluding part of the today's session. What is total energy? It is a kinetic potential, kinetic due to the movement that is total energy present in the system. That is called internal energy. What is the law of conservation of energy? The total energy of universe is constant. Okay. So sum of all the kinetic potential energy of all the atoms molecules in a sample is called its internal energy. So this is the concluding remark of today's session. And ultimately, we will wind up with this statement. What? The law of conservation of energy states that the total energy of an isolated system remains constant. It is said to be conserved over time. So where we are living? We are living in the universe. We are a part of the universe. So universe is what? Universe is best example for isolated system. So energy will be here and there. It is totally it is same constant. So this is today's conclusion. So tomorrow we go for some other part of thermodynamics. Till then, keep thinking and have a nice time. Thank you, my dear students.